Welcome back to the page, everyone. I'm here with Esperanza Gonzalez, who is the creator of the fashion, beauty, lifestyle Instagram page called SB11. 11 SB. Welcome to the channel, Esperanza. Sorry.
No, no worries. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here. And yeah,
With over 100,000 followers, she talks about fashion, beauty, plus size dating, and all things that goes on in her world. So, with that, let's get into your channel.
yeah, let's do it.
All right, before we start getting into the content of your Instagram page, let's get into what made you start it. You did started this about 3.5 years ago. So what made you want to do this?
Yeah, so funny enough, after high school, well, in high school, I ended up doing like daily vlogs every single day. I went to like this very small private charter school in Stockton. And although like we weren't necessarily allowed to like film, be on our phones and like bring cameras on campus, I would literally bring my camera every single day. I would daily vlog and then I would film it and put it on YouTube. Most of those vlogs though are private now, funny enough, because they're just so embarrassing and like cringe. Like I don't want those to see the light of day, but I did keep up like one or two, I believe. Um, but yeah, I always had like a love for content creation and just like I I feel like I always made videos, but I never really found like my space or like my purpose or my goal. And it wasn't until after high school, I got accepted into a really good college. I was going to school. And then I realized that like content creation is something that I still wanted to do on the side. I was going to school for journalism at the time. I was in my first year of college. And I realized that like journalism is like a little too objective for me. And I really wanted more like creative freedom. And so I changed to PR. And with that, I really focused with my social media. I would say that my post on Instagram, it kind of happened on accident. I wasn't really like going out of my way and trying to like grow my Instagram page. I remember just one of my photos would hit at the time, I believe it was called the Explore page on Instagram. Um, and yeah, I realized that like people were really enjoying like the outfits and stuff. And then it kind of happened like that. But then I also just wanted to like make a difference between the plus size beauty fashion space and just kind of begin my journey from there.
All right. Now, anytime a YouTube or Instagram page kind of takes off, it's never just a one person thing. Who is a part of your team that helps you put this together?
Oh my gosh. So when I first started, it was definitely my team was literally my mom. Like I owe so much to that woman and I'm so grateful for her. She's my mom, of course, and I look so much up to her, but she is like also like my best friend in a lot of ways. And she's always been my number one supporter as well. She kind of likes to take the role, of course, as like the momager, I'm not gonna lie, and I kind of like it can get like a lot at times, but yeah, she's definitely been a huge part of the journey. And it's been tough, especially like doing social media while in college and then working full time in college too. It's been a lot, but it's also just a lot of fun, so I feel very grateful.
All right, let's now get into the content of your page. Dating world is difficult for anyone, let alone a plus size person. What made you want to shine light onto this topic?
Yeah, so I realized that when in like 2018, 2019, when I was first posting like on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, um, there was like plus size content creators, but they were more like maybe I think from what I remember, they were more like family channels, women a little bit older, like in their 30s. And I was just like, I would try to find someone myself to like someone that I could relate to, look up to, but at the same time, someone around like my age. And I realized that a lot of the content as well that was being created was about like beauty and fashion, and that to me is like super important. I love inspo and looking at outfits from other plus size creators, but I also just realized that no one was really having like the very very uncomfortable conversations around like actually being plus size or experiencing like very um like not the best experiences growing up, and I kind of wanted to make that change and difference where it's like I talk about it as well as just create content that's like different, unique, and kind of just break the stigma around like plus size dating and whatnot.
Um,
Yeah.
you have done a bunch of interviews. Exactly what makes dating harder for plus size people rather than a skinny person?
Yeah, so this is a great question because I feel like a lot of people think the purpose, not a lot of people, but some people from like basing what I see in my comments, they think that the like purpose behind my videos is me trying to seek like male validation or kind of convince or persuade men to like look at plus size girls or like date plus size girls. But that's never really been like the case or the purpose or the goal of the series of Would You Date a Plus Size Girl. It's always been to like raise more awareness around the fact that plus size girls literally have no problem finding like men to date. Like men love plus size girls. And I like they
Oh,
love them. Like it's literally like no problem. What is more difficult dating as a plus size girl is that we grow up with so much like people telling us or bullying that tell us like, oh, like you're not worthy, or it just makes us like second guess ourselves, especially in the dating scene. It's like, for example, I've I could find someone that's really interested in stuff, but because I grew up in such this like stigmatized, like belittling, bullying environment in schools, workplaces, there's that like second guessing myself, like, oh, I find this guy, he's really nice, he's really sweet, but am I really like worthy of this? And I feel like that's the difficult aspect of plus size dating. It's not finding someone that like is into us or loving us. That's not the difficult part. It's when you're actually in it and experiencing it. Like it's like that imposter syndrome and just wondering like, okay, like he likes me, he loves me, but like why? Or like so
question.
yeah, yeah, questioning yourself, and that just comes from like again like growing up and stuff, and that's why I feel like I don't know, it's important to like talk about, and it's also very important for me to like create content where girls can relate to and they feel seen and heard, and not like this very much constant like self-love, love yourself, because at the end of the day like that's a journey, it's not easy, and I feel like it would be like fake or like not really doing anyone a favor if I always am acting like everything's perfect, everything's good. I have days where I'm just like I feel terrible about myself, and then I have the days where I feel absolutely good about myself, and I look in the mirror, I'm just like, okay, like I did that, or but I also have those days where I look in the mirror, I'm just like, oh, I do not feel the greatest about myself. So that's why I try to make that content about dating and stuff where it's not only like sharing the good, but also the bad about it and not sugarcoating it.
A lot of time with plus size influencers, they kind of share their story of what they're dating or finding clothes or whatever the case may be. Your channel kind of takes outside people and say, figure out why would you or why would you not date plus size people? What made you want to take it from that angle?
Yeah. Well, I realized that like with my platform, it's not the absolute biggest compared to like these crazy like big influencers or content creators, but I do realize that I'm very like lucky, blessed, and privileged to have like a platform with an audience, and I kind of wanted to use it and give other people the voice as well. Especially in my community, I come from a very like small tight knit community in Stockton, where it's just like if I have the opportunity and like built this platform where I could like share my thoughts, my opinions, why not give others that same opportunity as well? And also, it's important for me to like give others that opportunity to like talk about, for example, like the plus size community. Like I feel like not only about dating, but just like in general, which is why I do those videos of um uh do you think being plus size is a choice, or is it hard being plus size? Or I did one recently too where I asked others like, do you think like being plus size in the LGBTQ plus community, is that like extra difficult for you to like go through and maintain? And I've gone like really, really like vulnerable conversations with others where they share like, yeah, like being plus size in the LGBTQ plus community, like experience discrimination like within my own community. So I feel like those are like very like small, important, vulnerable conversations to have and to share, because I know that there's other people like going through the same thing that maybe they're just uncomfortable to talk about. But I just want like my space online to like make a difference. Yeah, but I don't get me wrong though, I love the beauty and fashion world, and that's something I do want to explore some more. But I kind of want to, I think my goal for sure is to just to be like a well-rounded individual and just like have and create content for like everyone.
Um, were you ever nervous asking people this question on camera? Because you're kind of putting them on spot a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, very nervous. So with the first series of Would You Date a Plus Size Girl or Guy, I actually started that series before COVID happened, and that was, I believe, in 2019, 2020. But I first started that series on Omegle. So like I would ask people this question online. And that's kind of how it started. And those videos did very well. And I realized that I got some comments saying like, oh, you should do this in person, you should do this in person. But I was always like super nervous to do it in person because it is uncomfortable. And then at the time too, before COVID, like before I was a freshman in college, like I was like extra super shy and dealt with like a lot more insecurities, and I had a lot of like trouble with my confidence. I self-doubted myself a lot, and like I could never in a million years see myself like filming and doing these interviews in person. But now it's like something that excites me and I look forward to doing, and I look forward to talking, meeting new people, and it's just very like self-reflective, and I feel very like blessed to be able to look back and see like, oh my gosh, 19-year-old me, like she would have never done what like me now is doing. So I'm just glad that I'm like growing and not really like staying in a comfortable bubble. I'm just really trying to like get myself out there, be uncomfortable. And also, I don't want to make others feel uncomfortable in person,
Mm.
but I do think it's important to have like the uncomfortable conversations, because I feel like the most value comes out of that. And I always ask, there's always like consent before filming and whatnot, every single person. So if there's ever a time where someone like looks or feels like they're uncomfortable in the videos, they completely consented to it. I get their approval before and after the interview. So it's, yeah, to me it's just very important to like have those conversations for sure.
Um, with your page, you did something really smart. Instead of you asking the question every time, you got different people, men, women, tall, skinny, short. You got all different type of people to ask these questions. Was it hard finding other people to find ask these questions, or were they just as interested in getting answers as well?
I'm very lucky where I just recently graduated college, but I have a lot of like friends, peers, other college students that, I'm friends with, and they were very open and happy to be a part of, the journey, the videos. And it wasn't hard at all to find others that were down to like ask the questions. I know when I first started the series, I got a lot of like feedback saying like, oh, people only saying like yes, that they would date a plus size girl or they would date a plus size guy because like the person asking the questions is like plus size herself. And then I got a lot of requests saying like, oh, like you should have a straight sized woman or a very healthy fit guy like ask these questions, and try to see if there's like if it differs, the answers and stuff. And I thought that was extremely valid, and I always try to take like my audience and my followers like their requests and all that. So I went forward and I did that. My friends had no problem, doing it. They were very happy to do it, and I'm very glad that I was able to get that content out because people were able to see like different perspectives, and also I guess you could say what's the word, when, or like I guess a social experiment in a way. But yeah, just having like a different demographic of people asking the questions I thought was super interesting.
Now, do you think all your guests are being honest with you? Or do you
What
feel
was
like do you think all of your guests are being honest with you because they are on camera and they want to look good?
yeah.
Do you think they're all being honest with you?
Ooh. Okay, this is a very good question. I get it a lot. I also get a lot of comments saying like, "Oh, this person seems like ingenuine." Most of them are pretty genuine for the most part, I would say. Most of them have literally no problem being honest. I remember the first time that I ended up filming in person on my college campus, I got a lot more no's than yeses. And I was kind of shocked how honest they were. And I appreciate the honesty because that's the whole point of the videos. But I think for the most part they are being genuine and honest. I think I get like just a select handful where I'm just like, okay, this guy is like he's lying or whatnot, or I know that he does not want to come off as like looking bad. But I think it's very awesome that like my audience can see through the videos and see like they can basically see like the true,
You see through them.
yeah, they could see through them, which I think is awesome. And I'm just like, yep, I saw the same thing. And then, yeah, so I think most of them are genuine, but then some of them are like, but yeah.
Um, with your interviews, do you think it's harder for a plus size woman or a plus size man to date in this era?
Ooh. Hmm. It's hard to say because I'm not a, plus size man, but I do get a select few comments from, like my some of my plus size peers that are men, and they say like similar things where it's just like, oh, like you think it's hard for like a plus size woman to date, like it's even harder as a plus size man. I can't really necessarily say um the right answer because I think both of them go through like hard times, but I don't know. I feel like it's both of it's all tricky. If you're plus size, it's tricky.
Um, we are kind of in this body positivity era that, being plus size is okay and it's beautiful, love your body. But in
Yep.
everyday life, plus size women and men are still not being valued enough to be loved or to be, the chosen one, the one I pick, or the one I marry. What has to change in society for that to change?
Mm, I think a good start would be like just, although they would say like TV and such is like dying, what's like more alive than ever is like, of course, the streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, um, all these like very popular, or HBO Max. I think a lot of them too come out with like these originals, whether it's like a series or movies. Seeing more like plus size representation within the media, not only in like in modeling and fashion, because I think we're on a pretty good journey with that, seeing more like plus size diversity in brands and such. But in like actual like Hollywood and like the streaming services and movies and TV shows, we're still not seeing it. And if we do, it's normally like a plus size person in like a comedy lead or whatnot. And I feel like that would be a good start. And that was also another huge reason why I started my series. Not to get like any sort of validation from anyone, but to just show others that like plus size people are loved and valued. And it's just like, Netflix, like, are you seeing this? Like, you should make a movie about like a plus size girl or a plus size guy as like a lead in a romance film, or like just a lead in any like heartwarming movie. It doesn't even necessarily have to be romance. But yeah, I think that would be a very good start. And also just as well having like the uncomfortable conversations and doing more content that's just not like beauty and fashion, but also just like other well-rounded conversations.
All right, Netflix, I'm calling y'all. I want a romantic with plus size girls in it. All right, Netflix.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hulu,
Yes, it'll
I'm
be
down.
$14.99 a month. All right, let's get into some dating tips. Now, I've watched probably every video you've done with the whole plus size content and all that stuff. Some of the guys you had up there said yes to dating a plus size girl, and they were fine. I'm not gonna lie to you. How can a plus size girl put herself out there to be like, hey, I'm available, look like I'm here?
Okay. I'm available. I'm here. This is the thing. I realized that everyone, I guess in my age, like in college or whatnot, they're on the dating apps. And for the longest time, like I was not on dating apps. I would say like my whole 4 years of college, I was not on dating apps. I would try for like a month or two and then, or not even a month, I would try for like just like a week, but then that week that I would have the dating app, I would just not open it up, and I could, it was also because I was just too busy. I was like working full time and I had a full load of courses and it was just a lot. But I feel like nowadays it's dating apps, but also the dating apps, I realized that it's all mostly like hookup culture and all that, and that's just something that it's not necessarily, I guess, like dating. If you're talking in like in the aspect of like seriously dating someone, I would say as well just going out and like getting out of your comfort zone as well. Now that I have a little bit more time too, I've been going out, whether it's like a bar, a club. Sometimes I will have like dinner or brunch in um hotels. Funny enough, I feel like
Excuse
I
me.
saw I saw this TikTok dating advice where it's just like to find like, a good successful man. Typically they're, in business meetings, like in hotels, and it's just like a lot of these hotels have like restaurants within them, and just get some girls together or go with your best friend and just have like brunch at a hotel, and like you can meet people that way, go to the pool if like the bars or the clubbing is like not really your scene. For me personally, especially being plus size, I feel most confident and best like meeting someone in person and just going off of energy. So I was someone that it was very hard for me to like go out a lot because I was always so busy, but also I struggled a lot with like anxiety and whatnot. But I always loved and valued just like that in person connection. But I do know that that's hard for a lot of people. So let's say like going out and stuff is not really like your jam or your forte at the moment. I would say like dating apps, and also not only dating apps, but like communities online, like maybe Discord, even like Reddit, if you're into like the online dating scene or like meeting someone first and then meeting them in person. But yeah, I would say that's a good start.
Now, you started this page when you were what, like 18, 19 years old, coming into college. And you talked about not having as much self-confidence and having anxiety. As the
Yep.
years gone by and you've gotten older and your confidence has grew, do you see more guys coming up to you now rather than then? And was confidence one of the pieces that you were missing?
Ooh, okay. I think confidence, not only dating, but just in general, like is so important. Like just going into things like fully being sure of yourself. Um, I would say that back then when I was like a freshman in college, I would not meet as many guys in person, mainly because I just didn't go out much. I was always like super hyper focused on high school. I wasn't allowed to date until college, which funny enough, I don't think I've ever like kind of mentioned that on my social media, um but then because of that, like when I ended up getting into college, I kind of felt like a baby deer like on this campus with a bunch of other students and just other peers that like they've already experienced so much in dating, and I kind of felt like a little behind, but I was never like ashamed of it. And I'm still like not that ashamed of it because it's like everyone, is comfortable and does and dates people at their own pace. But in terms of like guys approaching me, of course, like a lot more now, because I do think confidence has a lot to do with it, as well as I realized too that love isn't really gonna like fall out our door. That then at the end of the day, like you got to put yourself out there, and I've realized that like not that you should go look for it, but just to put yourself in situations that where it could possibly happen. Um, but yeah, I would say that there's definitely a major difference between like freshman year me and then me now that I've graduated. Um, yeah, I would say that there's definitely a huge growth for I would say I had in my confidence.
I'm like smiling because we're not that far in age, I don't think. I think I graduated a year like college last year. And I left high school when I got to college and I lived on campus. It's like I never went out. I always stayed in my dorm rooms. I was too shy to go out in public. So therefore, dating was not really available those first 2 years of college. It wasn't until I started going out and being confident in myself that I found, oh, I am attracted to other people are attracted to me. I need to get out of my own head. I'm damaging myself more than other people are.
No, yeah, exactly. And my first 2 year of college, like I was also in the dorms, and like my roommate, oh my gosh, she was so awesome. But she would be like go out every night and stuff, like, and then like which she would invite me out too. But because I always questioned myself and I felt so anxious, and I also struggle a lot with panic attacks, like it was just a battle like between like my fear of being judged and also just my anxiety. It kept me all kind of like consumed and in my own head, and I would end up staying in my dorm. Like if I was not in class, if I was not at work, I would be at my dorm. And then I would have like people or friends or even like girlfriends that would like text or DM me and be like, hey, like let's go out or like let's go to this party. But like I would be in my dorm and just kind of like keep to myself. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I graduated like 2, 3 months ago, and I would like run into like these guys or girls that I met like my first year of college, and then we kind of like graduated together. There was like this one frat guy specifically that was like, "Oh, hey, Espi, like congratulations." I was like, "Oh yeah, congrats to you too. Like it's so funny and cool to see how far we've come." He was like, "Yeah, like now that I think about it, like you always kept to yourself, huh? Like I would never see you out at parties or anything." And I was like, "Yeah, funny enough, like people would see me a lot online, or I did a lot of like work on campus too for Sac State, and people would see me online and constantly working, but they would not see me out in person. Like they would not see me at parties or clubs or anywhere locally. So yeah, I don't want to say I regret like not like going out and making appearances like my first, second year of college, but I feel like without those experiences, I wouldn't be where I am today within like my social media and stuff, because I always felt so confident and comfortable, and I love content creation because I was able to express myself in ways that I never could in person. And it's so cool to like hear that other people relate to like the same story too, like you mentioned to me. So it's just like it's very nice to hear that other people like go through the same things.
All right, now let's get on the guys a little bit because they're not shy to slide into a DM, but being in public is a whole nother story.
Yeah.
What do you tell guys who want to date plus size girls, but since society keeps them from doing it?
Mm, like a message to them.
Yeah, straight to the guys. You want to date plus size, but you're scared of what friends or society may think of you.
Yeah. I think I think guys like they care a lot about what their friends think. Like I've that's what I've noticed. Like I don't think they care as much as that what like the outside world thinks, but they very much care about like their friends and their families like approvals. And what I have to say about that is like life is too short. Like why not just completely, especially when it comes to like love, like in liking someone, like it's there's so much risk that goes into it, but why not take it, and why kind of just not take that and not like I don't know, just it's always confusing to me why they value the opinions of others so much, and they're kind of discouraged to date someone they're into because of their size. um but yeah, life's too short, and just don't allow like the stigma, especially because it's 2023, like don't allow that to get into the way of like the love you have for someone. And that goes as well for like girls and whatnot. Like don't allow like stigma of like dating a plus size guy to like get into the way of like a very beautiful relationship and what could be.
All right. Last question to wrap this up a bit.
Yeah,
All the plus size people out there, is love still alive for them? Like, is there a chance for them?
100%. 100%. You know, I like you said, like dating in general, now, especially when we're like straight out of college or like in college or high school and you're plus size, like it's just hard dating as it is. But then when you're plus size, like it's just adds that other element of like it's hard. Um, but I would say that love and dating is still very much alive. For me personally, like I'm such a hopeless romantic where sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, there's no one like else in this world that I feel like feels love like me and wants that like movie story romance. But I still have hope. Like I'm not gonna give up. Like I'm not gonna feel discouraged. That's why I'm single now. I'm still like waiting on that guy that I could like relate to and connect with, and we understand and value each other, and kind of like can go through life like accepting each other's imperfections. And that just goes with like love and dating in general. I feel like love is very much alive, and like you shouldn't feel discouraged over just like a boy like I always tell myself too, like a man's rejection is God's protection.
Yeah.
So if you're plus if you're someone that's plus size and like you experience rejection, like do not see that as something discouraging. Just see it as just like this just wasn't meant to be, and I trust the universe, and just on to the next one.
Thank you. Next.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I always ask my guests a bonus question. You are from California, sunny California.
Yes, I am.
Ever to go to California, what is the one spot, bar, club, hotel that I should go to when I'm in California?
Ooh. Well, I grew up in Stockton, but I've lived in Sacramento for the last 4 years. I'm in Stockton right now, visiting home and my mom. Who go to. Somewhere I found myself a lot lately would be for clubbing, Faces nightclub. They're actually a LGBTQ plus friendly nightclub, gay nightclub, but also they're very accepting of everyone at that nightclub. And I've developed a very good relationship with the a lot of people that work there, and the DJs and the owners, and they're just very good people. I would say like going to that nightclub is like you have like a ton of fun, but also you'd be supporting like a very good cause as well, and good people, good owners. So I would say definitely for sure Faces nightclub in Sacramento is a lot of fun.
All right, I gotta go there one day.
Yeah, you sure do. Let me know when you come. I could get you on the guest list. Don't worry about the cover fee. I got you.
Okay.
And let's
Oh,
go. No,
listen,
I'm
this is
serious. Let me
recorded.
know.
This is recorded,
No,
and I'll
yeah.
pull this up. All
No, literally let me know. I could get us in, no problem.
right. Thank you so much, SB. Thank you everyone for watching. You guys can follow her on Instagram at Aletta SB. Check out our videos on YouTube on her channel SB11. Make sure you subscribe to her channel. As always, all of her information will be in the box below. As always, follow me and tell me all about it, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me and for the invite. Loved it. Had a good time. And yeah, let's stay connected.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.